Well, and a very pleasant good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Walt Price Fitness Center on the campus of Everett Community College in Everett, Washington. 2018 NWAC Women's Basketball Championship is on the air. Mike Tatko along with Wes Tucker. We have quarterfinal action this afternoon. Columbia Basin against UMPQUA. Columbia Basin defeated Centralia 61-46 yesterday. UMPQUA, Wes, an 83-62 win over Peninsula. So the winner now to the Final Four.
Well, we saw a couple of great games, a couple of lopsided ones as the final minutes of the last quarter drew to an edge. Both teams winning by an excess of 20 points. So we're going to see two very dynamic, high-scoring offenses going here and two defenses that have also been fighting it out to the very last second of play as well. So I'm excited to watch this one.
It should be good. It's the first of four matchups today. Lower Columbia and Bellevue follow, and then later on Everett and Big Bend and Walla Walla and Lane. The winners come back next Saturday for Final Four action. Take you to the starters for Columbia Basin. Sabin Ko, a 5'10 freshman from Woodinville, Washington. Aspen Fyander, a 5'5 guard from Kennewick, Washington, a sophomore. Alexis Castro, a freshman from Granger, Washington. She's 5'3. Also, Charlotte Graham-Bernisto, a 5'3 guard, a freshman from Hilo, Hawaii. And Sarah Ramirez, a freshman from Hermiston, Oregon, 5'8". For the UMPQUA Riverhawks, coached by Dave Strickland, they are 29-1. They line up like this. Jordan Stotler, number 10. She is a 6'4 freshman from Roseburg. And Taylor Strickland, a 5'11 freshman from Sutherland. Stotler actually is a sophomore. Is on the very first possession. It's a putback by Dejanay Powell. It's quickly 2-0. Powell, also a starter, 6'3", and a sophomore from Oakland, California. Also in the lineup, Bria Thames, a 6' sophomore from Portland, Oregon, Westview High School, and Alyssa Grenfell, a sophomore, 5'9", from Hillsboro, Oregon. So the turnover by CBC, and it goes right back to the Hawks, and they want to run, Wes.
Boy, it's been a really fast pace. Like you said, scoring right off the bat, right after tip-off. And you mentioned Powell earlier. It's truly a dynamic player in the paint, but a lot of people don't realize that she's got the good mid-range, too, as well. So while you got to be careful about her up near the basket, you also got to manage the threat away as well.
A 26-point effort yesterday for Powell, and again, the Hawks unable to convert here. We have the Hawks and the Riverhawks. UMPQUA is in the white jerseys as you look at it down below. And going from right to left, Columbia Basin is in the dark blue. They wore more of a sky blue yesterday, but they're in the navy today, and they open in a tight man-to-man defense out front, and there's going to be a pushing foul called on Aspen Fyander. It'll be her first and the first team. It could be really interesting, Wes, because as you said, both teams want to pressure. Both teams want to run. I think in the half-court set, maybe UMPQUA with a little bit of advantage because of their size, but they're going to run if they can. And here come the Riverhawks with the basketball on the possession as Ko overplays Stotler, but no opportunity for Jordan to drive, and there is Thames with it. They lob it into Powell. She's wide open, and she lays it up and in, so the lob works, and it's quickly 4-0 Riverhawks. Castro ahead to Fyander. Columbia Basin winning by 15 yesterday. UMPQUA winning by 21. Both of these teams were in this position last year. UMPQUA advanced to the Final Four, while Columbia Basin was defeated by Skagit Valley in the quarterfinals.
We want to talk about a player looking to make a huge impact today, and that's Jordan Stotler, the sophomore, measuring in at 6'4".
And Castro nails a three. Good sign for CBC. Alexis hits it from the left wing. It's 4-3. If she can get going, then good things for Coach Zach Wild and the Hawks, who are 22-8 on the year. Dave Strickland and his UMPQUA Riverhawks are looking for their 30th win on the year. Second foul on CBC. That one is on Graham-Bernisto, her first, and again the second team. And so UMPQUA will bring it in front of the Columbia Basin bench in their white trimmed in green. And Castro with good defense now on Grenfell, and they throw it away. Columbia Basin has a chance for the lead. If Fyander can hit it, it's blocked. And the rebound by Graham-Bernisto. She'll drive baseline and kick it back out to Aspen. Fyander kicks to her teammate. The three on the way that time by Ramirez is off, and Stotler ends up with it. Ahead it goes to Strickland. Taylor back to Jordan Stotler, and she lays it up, and that rolled off no good, but the offensive rebound is no good. And what will they call? Will they call an over-the-back foul on UMPQUA, or will it be on Columbia Basin on the shot? It will be on Columbia Basin on the shot, I believe. Well, And so Zach Wild from Columbia Basin thought it was over the back, but Umpqua got the rebound, and the shot went back up, Wes, and it's a foul. And so that's going to send one of the Riverhawks to the free throw line for 2, and that's Thames, and she knocks it down.
When we talk about the importance of these small leads in the third quarter, possibly the end of the second quarter, and it's all decided through these free point opportunities. You got to capitalize on these.
Already 3 fouls on Columbia Basin. And the deep 3 again is off this time by Fyander. That foul was on Sabin Ko. And at the other end, it's a turnover circle already. Ko, Fyander, Graham Bernisto with 1 apiece. And I tell you, if CBC gets in foul trouble, watch out, because their bench, frankly, isn't all that deep. And coming out will be Fyander. And the reserve will be Monica Calzadiaz for Columbia Basin. Calzadiaz is a freshman from Kiona Benton in Benton City, Washington, just right down the road from Pasco, where Columbia Basin is located. Graham Bernisto into the corner to Ko. She had a good game yesterday, Sabin. And the pass inside to Ramirez. And now Castro will fire another 3. It's off this time, and an easy rebound for Stotler. One thing Umpqua doesn't do, Wes, is give up a lot of second shots.
That was something mentioned in a post-game interview yesterday. It's slipping my mind exactly who it was, but in the interview, you can see it on the NWAC's Twitter and Instagram. She said that rebounds win games.
Well, I think it was actually several kids said that, but I think Lane is what was the focus against Skagit Valley. I think we were talking with Sarah Hall, and she mentioned how important it was for Lane to rebound against Skagit. Because they had such a huge height advantage, they did rebound, and they end up winning by 40. And rebounding, of course, regardless of who you're playing, is going to be huge. Sabin Ko draws the foul. She'll have a couple of free throws. The first foul on Umpqua, and it goes on Jordan Stotler as Ko drove the lane. So Sabin will have a chance to get the Hawks a little bit closer. It's 7-3. We're just underway. 6:40 remaining in the first period. It's on the way and good. 7-4 is our score.
So right out of the gate, you expect it to be this close, trading a little bit as we progress into the later periods?
Yeah, these teams did not play each other during the regular season. As Ko's second shot is up and off, it's no good, and Umpqua with the rebound. Sometimes you have NWAC teams that play each other in the preseason, even though they're from different regions, at crossovers and such, as Taylor Strickland gets the easy lay-in for the Riverhawks, and it's 9-4. And so when you haven't played each other, although you've seen a lot of film on the opposing team, as Castro scores at the other end, she has 5, you feel each other out for part of a quarter. We're only 4 minutes in. It's 9-6. And so, yeah, I guess I would say that I would expect this, and we'll see how long Columbia Basin can apply pressure as, of course, they run again. And there's a give off to Calzadiaz, and she missed the easy one. And those are shots, Wes, that Columbia Basin's going to have to make. Stotler at the other end lays it in. Jordan Stotler has 4.
Don't know if everybody saw that, but just in front of the media table, a referee was taken out just in front there. The player to be named later just took a little header down there. That was actually Fyander.
And all 3 officials are moving well, though, again, so apparently it was not something too serious, as a cross-court pass from Stotler to Strickland. And now back to Jordan, and she fires from 3, and she knocks it down. Stotler, her first 3, and all of a sudden it's 14-6. It does not take long, Wes, for Umpqua to go on a run.
That is very evident.
5:15 remains in the first period, and it's 14-6 in favor of the Riverhawks over the Hawks. Graham Bernisto into Ko, and it's poked away by Stotler, and then Stotler is fouled. And that foul is going to be on Ramirez. And so 5 different Hawks, check that, 4 different Hawks have a foul. And the basketball goes back over to Umpqua, and a couple of Hawks sit down, Ko and Ramirez, and Coach Wild will go with Catherine Bayham, who really played well off the bench yesterday, and Caitlin Hosfeld also has an opportunity to come in for Columbia Basin. Driving is Grenfell, and a lob inside to the new Umpqua player in the game, which is Marilee Jones, and it's thrown away, and it goes back to Columbia Basin. 4:50 1 to go. And a timeout on the court. We're just underway in our first quarterfinal. It's UMPQUA 14, Columbia Basin 6. We're back to Everett after this timeout.
Fans, be sure to check out the NWAC on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for all the latest NWAC news. Also, visit nwacsports.org for the most recent information on scores, stats, and more.
With Wes Tucker, Mike Tatko with you from the White Walt Price Fitness Center in Everett, a beautiful venue for the NWAC tournament, 3rd year in a row. Men's action starts tomorrow. Big weekend of men's action. The women will come back next week, Saturday for the semifinals and Sunday for the championship game. Right here, the winner gets a berth in next Saturday's Final Four. They'll play at 6 o'clock, as the men will play first next Saturday. The women will play at 6 and 8 in the semis. And right now, UMPQUA is trying to put away Columbia Basin in advance to that part. But Monica Calzadillas for the Columbia Basin Hawks scores, and that makes it 14 to 8.
And a winner of this game is going to have their work cut out for them, regardless of who wins the next one, LCC and Bellevue. Boy, and that's going to be another teeter-totter match, or some would call them a pick-em at that point.
Really is, as Stotler gets free inside. Again, she has 5. I tell you, that basketball game coming up, we really could have 4 really good quarterfinals, LCC, Bellevue, Everett, and Big Bend, as Hosfeld scores for Columbia Basin. And then, of course, the nightcap tonight, Lane and Walla Walla. So we could have 4 really good quarterfinals as we get to the Final Four next week. Strickland for a deep 3. It's up and good. And Strickland has 7, and it's 19 to 10. It's a high-scoring battle so far, West, with 3:35 to go.
Well, definitely. And last night, seeing a women's game go into triple digits, that's honestly the first time I can ever say that I've seen that happen.
That was the Everett win over Clackamas, 102-77. Rebound by Hosfeld inside. Tried to dish it off to her teammate, Bayham, but it was stolen away. And here come the UMPQUA Riverhawks. They just do not have very many empty possessions. You need to get stops when you can. And there's a runner up by Stotler. She has 7, and it's 21 to 10. And we still have 3 minutes remaining in the first period. And Coach Wild will come back with KO and Ramirez at the next opportunity for Columbia Basin. He and Coach Dave Strickland, they both stand most of the basketball game. Sometimes Dave Strickland will stand at the far end of the bench. He's been doing it long enough. He knows the routine that he likes to have. Again, this is his 22nd season here, and prior to that, he's been elsewhere, and he's always won. 29-1 this year, 15-1 in the South, and the top-ranked team in the NWAC, no matter what the situation is. Dave Strickland has his Riverhawks ready to go, and he does so again this year. And on that particular play, the ball off the hands of Callie Freeze out of bounds. It goes back to CBC. Of course, Zach Wild was an assistant here at Everett last year to Chet Hovde, and he took over for Darren Santo in Pasco, so he's very familiar with this facility as he has coached here. But now he's in the Tri-Cities trying to continue the success that Columbia Basin has had throughout the year, starting with Cheryl Holden and also Darren Santo as Castro knocks it down, and it's 21-12. And at the other end, the ball's knocked out of bounds. It'll remain UMPQUA basketball. So both of these programs, traditional powers in the NWAC, and you expect to see them in the Final 8, and we have that matchup today. There's a steal by Columbia Basin, a stop that they certainly needed. Castro running it down the court. She'll lay it up and good. Alexis has 9, and it's down to a 7-point lead for the Riverhawks. They led by 11 a moment ago. Freeze inside, and that's a lay-in for Marilee Jones, who is giving Dejanay Powell a break. And Jones hit a big three-pointer right before the halftime buzzer last night, and she hits a big basket there. And there's a shot off the hands of Graham Bernisto, and she got fouled, and Charlie will shoot a pair.
When you talk about Jones coming in for Powell, and when you have a player as dynamic as Jones to replace a very dynamic starter in Powell, that's just a gift right there. It shows the depth that they have on their bench.
You don't lose a lot, although Powell with a monster game last night, and admitted after the game that she did have some tournament jitters, but I'm sure she doesn't today. As speaking of Dejanay Powell, met her last night, and she said, "Oh, they call me Daisy," and she comes back into the game, and it's Jordan Stotler who gets a little bit of a break, and so the free throw good by Graham Bernisto makes it 23-15, and the second offering is up and good as well. So 23-16 in favor of the Riverhawks, and Freeze runs it up the right side. Pulls up, kicks it out. There's Strickland, the coach's daughter, knocked it down. 10 for Taylor Strickland, and it's 26-16. Columbia Basin inside to KO against Powell, and it would not go. Her shot was altered, and Marilee Jones, ahead it goes to Strickland in the deep right corner, and she'll kick it to Freeze. And a lob to Daisy Powell. That was too hard. She missed the angle. She got her own rebound. It's a fight. It's a jump. And the held ball goes to the Columbia Basin College Hawks. 1:18 remains in the first period of our basketball game. And Monica Calzadillas will bring it in to Graham Bernisto. Castro has had a good first quarter with 9, but there are 3 Riverhawks with at least 6, and that balance is tough to overcome. Columbia Basin, the second team from the Eastern Division. Calzadillas for 3. Off the back iron, and Powell got fouled, I think, by KO over the back. That's going to be which foul on Saban? It's her second, and that will send UMPQUA to the free throw line, where they will have an opportunity to increase the lead. And they shoot 66% from the free throw line west, so an opportunity for Powell to shoot a pair here.
And when it comes to free throws with Powell, she is hovering just around the 55% marker.
And that one's off the heel of the rim and bounding back, so she'll have another one. 58 seconds to go. You know, you win by a lot of points like UMPQUA does, and you don't think that free throws are important, but in a tight game like they lost to Lane a while back, those free throws do become important, and Powell knocks the second one down. So she has 7, and the Riverhawks lead 27-16, final minute. Calzadillas looking inside for Baham, but they can't find her. Now they do. Catherine with the spin and the left, and it would not go, and the rebound by Marilee Jones. Jones will bring it up and then give it off to Powell. So the 2 post people bring it across the court, and they get it to the guard Freeze. Columbia Basin in man-to-man defense. Strickland into Powell, and she gets it off to Jones, and what do we have? Out of bounds violation, and so the shot clock is off, and Columbia Basin will have the final shot.
Well, it looked like, I thought I saw that, but a little bit of a delayed whistle there. Almost a little unsure on the call, but I think the right one.
Not sure if she was out of bounds and caught it before she came back in or what the situation was, but it goes back over to Columbia Basin.
Well, initially when I heard the whistle, I thought they were going to call either a travel or a double dribble on Powell.
So CBC will play for 1, try to get this down to a single-digit game. They trail by 11 now. Final 10 seconds. Castro against Freeze. Going to kick out, and it's now Ramirez, and she got fouled. And the foul on UMPQUA is on Freeze. It's her first, but only the third team. And so CBC will have 6.1 seconds to do something. And here's Castro. She drives on free. She's going to have to put it up. And she leaves it off for her teammate who scores it at the buzzer. And that is Ramirez, her first 2. So they do get it down to single digits west after 1. It's Umpqua 27, Columbia Basin 18. We're back to Everett Community College after this timeout.
I'm Danny Horton, and I'm an STCU member. The windstorm of 2015, who doesn't remember that? Had no power, were the heaters, the horse trough was a 600-pound block of ice. STCU stepped up. I went straight down. I got the loan I needed. If it hadn't been for STCU and the ability to provide everything I needed, where would I have been? I'm Danny Horton, and STCU is here for good.
I am strong.
I won't give up.
I put my heart into the game.
I learned from my mistakes.
Focus.
Determination.
Confidence.
I trust my gut.
No limits.
Preparation.
Dedication.
Leadership. I want to make my team and family proud.
And be an inspiration for other girls who like sports.
Join the movement.
Well, Mike, so we've gotten through the first quarter, so you know what that means. It's time for a little EVCC trivia. So if you're playing along at home, keeping score, let's do it. Mike, why do 19,000 people choose Everett Community College each year?
Probably for everything, including faculty that know your name and care about your future. Register now for spring classes at everettcc.edu.
All right, you got to love those trivia questions.
Well, back to the basketball game, and Free's going to fire a 3 to begin the quarter. It's no good, and the rebound for CBC. Well, they cut it to 9 at the final buzzer, Wes, and now they're going to try to get a little bit closer, and there's Castro who misfired, and it's going to go out of bounds, and the Hawks will keep it. The strategy in your mind for Columbia Basin, you got to chip and chip and chip away. You can't expect to get all 9 back right away.
Well, I mean, anybody can get on one of those magical 12-0 runs, but they aren't going to be the most often seen strategy, so I agree 100%. It's a 2-pointer here, a couple of threes from the corner, and you're right back in it to one-possession game.
And really more than anything, as it goes out of bounds and they'll hold it again, is you got to get some stops at some point. You cannot give up 27 every quarter because, as you mentioned a moment ago, you saw a triple-digit game yesterday. We all saw a triple-digit game yesterday. 427s equals triple digits. Even I can do the math on that. So you got to get some stops along the way if you're Columbia Basin. They have the ball right now, just underway in the second period, down 27-18. Umpqua in a zone, and so the Hawks could get some shots off, perhaps. And there's Fyander for one, and that's off the iron, no good. And Strickland with the rebound for the green and white clad Riverhawks from Roseburg, Oregon. And there's Daisy Powell with the spin. She has 9, and it's back to an 11-point lead for Umpqua. Castro, Fyander. And now Ramirez. And Ramirez fires a deep 3, and that won't go. And Umpqua wants to run, and there's Thames inside, and Bria puts it up. It's no good, but right there is Powell for the putback. Well, you can do all you want to try to stop her in the set offense, but it's hard to stop her putbacks.
Oh, that's for sure.
She has 11, and it's up to a 13-point lead for Umpqua. Castro in the key may have given up a 15-footer. Instead, she tried to get into Ramirez, and it was stolen away. And now Umpqua with it back. Thames going to drive, and it's taken away by Gran Bernisto. Ahead it goes to Alexis Castro. She'll lay it up and get it. 11 for Alexis, and it's an 11-point lead for Umpqua, 31-20. Talking with Powell in the post-game show yesterday in the little interview that is posted as she scores it again. She has 13. She said it did not sit well last year when they lost in the semifinals to Spokane. And they were disappointed in that and have a score to settle this year as she swats the ball down and then she helps up Sarah Ramirez. Columbia Basin will keep it.
And right there, that's what the NWAC is all about. Just a history of great sports, no matter what the sport right there. You saw the truly vicious swat right there. Great defense. And then immediately reaches to help her opponent up.
Yeah, there's no taunting. There's no looking in your face and saying, I got you there. She reached down. She was the first person to come to her aid, and we continue on with 15 on the shot clock in a 13-point game. And it's Castro from the free throw line, rims around and goes down, and she has 13 of the 22 for the Hawks. And it's 33-22 and a 5-second violation. And so Columbia Basin making a little bit of a run here, and they have the basketball underneath their basket with an opportunity to get a little bit closer. Gran Bernisto will bring it in way out front. Actually, it's Castro bringing it into KO. Sabin going to drive and jump it up from 10. Banks it home. First two. Actually, first field goal for Sabin KO to go along with her one free throw, and it's down to a 9-point game again. Grenfell back in. A lob to Powell, knocked away. And again, you got to consider that a victory. Powell didn't catch and score. It was knocked away out of bounds. You make UMPQUA throw it in from the inbounds, and so you had a little bit of success there. And now let's see what they do on the inbounds, whether they try to lob or what they try to do. They throw it into Grenfell. And Thames posts up and seals really good on Gran Bernisto and lays it up and in. 3 in the game for Bria Thames. Castro driving, crossover move. They're going to call her for a travel. And Alexis is questioning the official as to why it was a travel, and the official gives her the explanation, and now it goes back to the Riverhawks. Grenfell and Thames as Columbia Basin with a little bit of token pressure here. And now a lob to Powell, and they just do not have the height to deal with her. They just don't have the height to deal with her, and it's 37-24. Powell, of course, 6'3", and Columbia Basin does have a 6-footer, but she's not in the game. That's Nialat Guish, and they may end up having to put her in the game eventually because Bayham is the other tall player on the CBC team. She's 5'11". She's not currently in the game. KO is 5'10". She's probably one of the most athletic kids in the entire NWAC, and they have her guarding Powell now. And then meanwhile, Freeze fires a three. It's no good, and Castro has the rebound. 13-point UMPQUA lead. And Castro missed it, but UMPQUA traveling on the rebound. Well, 5:45 remains in the half. We have, of course, Bellevue, Lower Columbia next. Your thoughts on that one?
Oh, you know what? That's just one I've been excited about. I mean, I've gotten a chance to see Lower Columbia a couple of times, and then the Mount Hood Bellevue game was a nail biter up until the end. So what we can expect from that is Bellevue is going to be playing a lot more aggressive up inside the key. They aren't going to take as many range shots as Lower Columbia will. That's where Lower Columbia is going to thrive.
Interestingly, that Lower Columbia has had some injuries this year, and they still routed North Idaho College. Hosfeld for three. That's off no good, and Stotler will pull it down. Surprised at how well they played against a pretty good North Idaho team without their entire squad, but Lower Columbia potentially on a mission, and they'll face Bellevue. And I really expect that to be a dandy. That's coming up next. And
oh, absolutely.
A foul on the rebound on Columbia Basin. That's our first foul in this quarter. Again, they wipe off the fouls each quarter. That one is charged to Bayham, who's in the basketball game. We've played almost half of the quarter, and now, just like that, we have another quick foul on CBC. That one's going to be on Hosfeld. So 2 quick team fouls. In the evening bracket, we have Everett and Big Bend. Big Bend, a number 4, defeating a number 1 Grace Harbor 70-59, and Everett playing on their home court in front of their home folks. Put up 102 on Clackamas as Jordan Stotler knocks down another 3. She has 10 points in the game to join Powell in double figures and also Strickland. So they have 3 in doubles, and it's a 16-point edge for the Riverhawks. Bayham blocked by Stotler, and ahead it goes to Freeze. And Strickland will have it popped away from behind by Fyander, but they'll keep the basketball. And a timeout on the court here from the Walt Price Fitness Center in Everett. It's Umpqua 40, Columbia Basin 24. Wes and I are back after this timeout.
I'm Deborah Jackson. I work at STCU. During the windstorm of 2015, we were expecting that members would need any number of things. I was talking with a colleague. It popped into my head that why can't we do something to help offset that cost for our members and our community? So that day we came up with the Get It Fixed loan. Everyone was on board with it. It was done that day. Being part of this community and involved and invested as we are, when we see a need like that, we take the action. I'm Deborah Jackson, and STCU is here for good.
Celebrating 50 years of possibilities realized, Pierce College is here to guide you to student success. With more than 60 programs of study at Pierce College is a fit for you, your life, and your schedule, including short-term certificate programs, transfer degrees, and even baccalaureate degrees. Pierce provides flexible degree options to help you on your path, and your pathway is clear at Pierce College.
Well, a 9-point lead West for Umpqua at the break at the first quarter. And they've just slowly extended it to 16. Nothing flashy. They're making the most of their possessions and getting some good stops. And they have the basketball again, and another lob to Dejanay Powell. This time it doesn't net any points, but Stotler is there to drive and put it up. It's no good. And the rebound by Thames back to Stotler, who jumps in the short 8-footer. And it's an 18-point lead for Umpqua.
Well, I tell you, it's been racking around in my brain with the French language in my background, déjeuner meaning lunch. So naturally, it's lunchtime down there, and déjeuner is eating up in double digits in scoring so far.
Yeah, 15 for her. At the other end, Catherine Bayham gets her first two for the Hawks. And it's 42-26, back to a 16-point lead. Stotler, a rare misfire, and they're going to get Powell for the foul. First team foul on the Riverhawks with 4:04 to go before half.
Thank you for that reminder, misfile. April is coming around.
Yes.
So, going to have to start worrying about that.
And now Castro comes back in as Graham Bernisto will get a break, and Ramirez will sit down, and KO back. Also Hosfeld, Bayham, and Fyander joining Castro. That's the 5 on the court for the CBC Hawks. Sabin past Powell, jumps it up from 12, rattled off, and the rebound comes down to Stotler. And ahead it goes to Grenfell. Strickland going to fire a 3. Good. It does not matter which one of them. They are all on, and it is a timeout called, and it is 45-26 in favor of Umpqua with 3:35 left in the half.
Life is about moments. If you fight, I fight. If I fight, we fight.
You be there and watch what I do when the bell rings.
Do you have that real look in your eye that when you look at yourself in the mirror, you can ask yourself this question: did I give everything I got? Did I lay it all on the line? Or am I cheating myself?
What you say, Quade?
See ya!
Right at it. Oh! He's done it again!
So whatever you're gonna do, claim it. Leave your mark on this world.
Today's contest brought to you by the Jet City Roller Girls, bringing the sport of roller derby to Snohomish County. Tickets for Jet City's 11th season are now available with doubleheader bouts at Edmonds Community College. featuring a family-friendly environment and beer garden. Find a skater handing out flyers to receive a discount off entry to the next bout.
Caitlin Hosfeld brings us back to action with a bank shot from the free throw line. 17-point Umpqua lead. Strickland, a traveling violation on Taylor.
Well, what's been impressing me so far this game with Strickland is just the patience that she has on the outside. She's 3 for her last 4 on three-point attempts. And correct me if I'm wrong, but she's up to 13 points of her own in this game.
At the other end, it's a misfire this time by Hosfeld. And another travel on the Riverhawks. Strickland 13, as you said, 12 in the game for Stotler, and 15 for Powell. So great balance by Umpqua. As coming into the basketball game is Charlotte Graham Bernisto. Lower Columbia Bellevue coming up next. And we'll have some halftime guests from Lower Columbia, it appears.
Looks like we may get a special guest appearance by Athletic Director Kirk Rowland as well.
Can't go wrong interviewing Kirk.
Oh, not at all.
Misfire, but an offensive rebound, and now Hosfeld again from the free throw line, and that rims out, and it's not good. And so the Riverhawks have it back. Grenfell, and they're going to talk about it to see if it was tipped. The Riverhawks thought it was tipped, but the officials say no, it was not, and so it's out of bounds to the Columbia Basin Hawks, and Sabin Ko will bring it in with 2:16 remaining. 17-point Umpqua lead. They scored 27 in the first quarter, and they have 18 here. And the miss and the rebound by Umpqua, but the ball is stolen away, and Columbia Basin gets another chance, and here's Castro. Castro fires a deep three. It's short. Castro, with 9 in the first quarter, held to 4 here, as Umpqua has tightened the defense on the guard from Columbia Basin.
When I tell you, when you got a 6'4" player like Stotler in front of you, shooting that three just seems darn near impossible, especially the hand right in her face, just able to get it away and just short of the net.
They lob it into Powell, who missed the shot, but she was fouled, and so 2 free throws coming for Dejanay. And the foul on Hosfeld, her second, and the third foul on CBC with 1:36 remaining, a 17-point lead for Umpqua. And the free throw is a little bit short. Freeze comes back in, Callie Freeze. And getting a break is Alyssa Grenfell. And Powell ready for free throw number 2, and that one is good. She has 16. And it's 46-28, final minute and a half. Sabin Ko, a 12-footer, was blocked. She wanted a foul, didn't get it. And a traveling violation, yeah. Thames wanted to throw, and then when nobody was open, she decided not to throw it, but of course she took the other step, and that necessitated a travel violation with 1:18 remaining. Columbia Basin was able to cut it to 9 at the end of the first period, and they're trying to get a little closer here before the half. Bayham, and she traveled, is good. Straight up defense by Stotler, didn't give an inch, and Bayham tried to go around her, but she forgot to dribble. So back once again to the Riverhawks. Freeze will bring it up. The Hawks trap her, but Stotler, and she traveled. Boy, a lot of traveling violations late here in this quarter. Good defense by both teams.
Now, why do you think we're seeing so many of them this late in the first
Well,
half?
I think maybe the kids are tired. I also think Columbia Basin is implementing a trap that they haven't before. Umpqua maybe has some kids handling the ball who don't normally hand the ball, so it could be a lot of different reasons. But mainly, I think some good defensive pressure by both teams is getting the offenses out of their flow. But still an 18-point edge for the Riverhawks. There's Hosfeld in the deep right corner. And there's Castro. Wanted to fire. Instead, she has to drive. And it was off the back of the rim. And another turnover back to CBC. So every time they miss and you think Umpqua is going to put the hammer down, they turn it back over.
They're giving Columbia Basin all the opportunities they could possibly need to make it close going into the end of the first half. It's just a darn shame they haven't been able to capitalize on them all.
Lyndall Wapshili is into the basketball game for CBC, seeing her first tournament action. Final 25 seconds, about a 7-second difference between game clock and shot clock. Hosfeld to Wapshili for 3 off the iron and rebounding it for Powell, and Umpqua will have the final shot if they want it. Here's Thames driving on Calzadiaz. It's no good, but Calzadiaz fouled her. And so Bria Thames will have 2 more free throw attempts with 12.4 seconds left in the half. Thames is 1 for 2 from the free throw line. And the foul on Calzadiaz, her first.
Thames on the season over the 75% marker on free throws.
Just 1 for 3 today after that miss. She still has 3 points in the basketball game. 18-point edge for Umpqua. She got the second, so she's 2 for 4. 4 points, 19-point lead, final 10 seconds. Castro got fouled by Strickland, her first. Not a bad foul because it's not enough to put him over the limit, and it'll have Columbia Basin reset for the final 4.6. On the sideline, out of bounds. Down below us and to the right, and nearly a steal, but it knocked out of bounds by Strickland, and that took 0.9 seconds, and now they're down to 3.7. Calzadiaz to Castro. Alexis is going to have to fire here. She does from well beyond the arc, and it's good. Second buzzer beater in the game for CBC, as it's Castro who now has 16. And that makes our halftime score Umpqua 47, Columbia Basin 31. Wes Tucker and I back to Everett Community College after this timeout.
Training is definitely making myself better, but I know that it's going to end up making my teammates better.
You have to know your teammate and know what they need.
The cohesion on the field and off the field is what makes everyone strong.
Being on a team, you know it's not just you out there.
I would do anything for the player next to me, behind me, in front of me.
Practicing day in and day out, trying to be the best me so they can be the best them. It's like a sisterhood that you have with those girls.
It's just really empowering. They're all doing crazy things. And you want to be like them, and you want to push yourself like them.
Motivates me to work harder, to get faster, quicker.
Pushing each other so hard, all for the same goal. And then when you accomplish it, that's the best feeling in the world.
Once you tap into that, I think you're unstoppable.
Port Angeles is up this way, right?
Across the ferry, yeah.
But further up north.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back to halftime here. 47-31 Umpqua leading Columbia Basin. I'm joined by Kenya Lorton right here next to me and Shawnee Wheeler from Lower Columbian. What a tremendous win for your club yesterday against North Idaho. Before we talk about the game today, I want to start with you, Nishani, and talk about the challenge of facing North Idaho and how you were able to overcome their pressure and have success.
I think Chad did a really good job of scouting them, and we just played them twice before, and we knew what was coming, so we just really worked the whole week on what our plays that we were going to do to break their defense.
They have that trap that they call the buzz, and you certainly put an end to the buzz, I'll tell you that. Kenya, a lot of injuries on your team. It's been well documented, but you've seemed to have bound together as a team, and here you are in the Final 8. Talk about coming together.
Yeah, we know now that we're this far into the season with so many injuries, we know that we've had to come together because it's obviously been really upsetting losing so many good players this year, but I feel like that just pushes us to work harder and come together even more. So even though it really does suck to lose those players, it really does push us to work harder. So
Nishani, you mentioned you had a week. Coach Mayners did a good job, a week to prepare for North Idaho. Well, only a day to prepare for your opponent here coming up in about an hour, Bellevue. What will be the key, in your opinion, to taking on the Bulldogs?
I think just keeping our composure and just playing well and just playing how we have been and just keep up the pressure.
And Kenya, final question before I let you guys go. What will be the keys, the challenges that Bellevue poses today?
Well, we are going to focus on their posts because with losing Ty, we lost another of our posts with rebounding, so we really need to focus on our rebound on our end. So I feel like that's a big thing. And then just pushing the ball, because yesterday I feel like we did a really good job with just pushing the ball and running the floor, and I feel like if we keep that going today, we'll do well. So.
Well, you put up 84 points, so you did something right yesterday. So Nishani Wheeler and Kenya Lorton, thanks so much for joining me here at halftime, and best wishes this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, and we're back with more of our halftime show right after this timeout.
Historic, unique, exciting. As challenges continue to test the mettle of Americans, your community has to depend on willing citizens just like you to answer the call and respond to local disasters and other times of crisis. You may be surprised to find out who we are and what we do. In fact, it could actually be your story too. The Air National Guard.
From the arrival of the first colonies in the New World until today, communities across America have depended on their own local patriotic citizens to be available for extraordinary challenges as a part-time militia guard. For over 300 years, they have been in every war and rushed to the scene of every natural disaster. At the turn of the 20th century, when airplanes were used for various military needs, the state National Guard units flew for domestic use as well as preparing for wartime needs.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
It soon became clear.
Well, welcome back to halftime. UMPQUA leads Columbia Basin 47-31. We have our guest from Bellevue College. Molly Dixon is right next to me, and Brenda Akoto is here. Thanks for stopping by. We'll start with you, Brenda. A grinder yesterday against Mount Hood, 61-57, one of the lowest scoring games in the tournament, but you made some big baskets in the fourth quarter when you had to. Kind of recap that game for us.
I think we definitely, that was a chance for us to get the jitters out. It was a little bit of a slow game, but I think we just need to, in the next game, since we've gotten the jitters out, to really play our game.
Molly, Lower Columbia is the opponent today. They had a tremendous win against North Idaho yesterday by more than 20 points. I'm sure you watched at least part of it, if not all of it. What did you see about the Red Devils from Lower Columbia that are maybe a little bit concerning to the Bulldogs today?
They like to move the ball really fast, so we'll make sure to get on them on defense. They have a lot of solid shooters, so we need to make sure we get out on them, and they look a little different from when we played them earlier in the season, as we are different too, so we just need to make sure we recap and just kind of adjust their playing styles.
It's got to be really exciting to be in the Final 8. There's 33, 34 NWAC teams, and so to be at this place, Brent, has got to be really a good accomplishment for the program.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're really excited. We have a big group of sophomores, and it's really awesome.
What do you tell the freshmen who haven't been here before about how to prepare for an atmosphere like this? Because there's probably more people here than maybe you play in front of during the regular season. Can you give them any guidance as far as this is how we're going to approach it?
It is kind of hard to adjust. The biggest thing I could say is just to slow down and try to treat it as a regular game. Like we've played at Everett in conference, so just kind of treat it like a conference game.
All right. Well, Brenda Cotto and Molly Dixon, we want to thank you for stopping by this afternoon. Congratulations on your win yesterday, and best wishes today against Lower Columbia.
Thank you.
All right. And we're back with more of our halftime show right after this.
WWCC is affordable. Find your way. Attend part-time. Direct transfer. Join the fun at WWCC.
Y'all ready to play?
Historic, unique, exciting. As challenges continue to test the mettle of Americans, your community has to depend on willing citizens just like you to answer the call and respond to local disasters and other times of crisis. You may be surprised to find out who we are and what we do. In fact, it could actually be your story too. The Air National Guard.
From the arrival of the first colonies in the New World until today, communities across America have depended on their own local patriotic citizens to be available for extraordinary challenges as a part-time militia guard. For over 300 years, they have been in every war and rushed to the scene of every natural disaster. At the turn of the 20th century, when airplanes were used for various military needs, the state National Guard units flew for domestic use as well as preparing for wartime needs.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
It soon became clear that the professional use of aircraft was very important to the United States. After World War II, Congress created the United States Air Force and transformed the aviation units at local guard units into the Air National Guard. Now, in more than 130 communities across the United States, the Air National Guard covers a wide variety of jobs, nearly 200 part-time and full-time career opportunities. Each location can host any number of unique missions, and each one of these missions includes many exciting jobs waiting for you to master.
As our name suggests, air means you could be involved with aviation efforts, including space and cyberspace, volunteering for both state and federal needs. An excellent example is the Combat Air Patrol mission. The units assigned to this vital mission have fighters that are on alert, ready to scramble at a moment's notice, protecting local communities from aircraft entering unauthorized airspace. But not just pilots are involved. Munition specialists, aircraft mechanics, and airfield operations specialists are needed to keep these missions flying.
Nowadays, everything is very high quality electronics and very digitized. So what I do is I maintain and make sure these F-16s have the correct components, have the highest upgraded digital systems installed.
In recent years, through remote technologies, serving overseas may actually take place at your local Air Guard unit. You could be protecting ground troops overseas or carrying out other missions through remote piloted aircraft and space satellite operations. As a part of the elite battlefield airmen units, you could be selected and trained to operate alongside all other special operations forces. With your rigorous training and exceptional talents, you can be expected to go beyond the front lines, identifying enemy targets, protecting troop movements against ambushes, and rescuing military and civilian personnel trapped behind enemy lines. The Air Guard also has several units where medics are trained and involved in aeromedical evacuation, a specialized flying triage mission, stabilizing and protecting military members and civilians injured during any number of conflicts or natural disasters. And since all of these operations occur in the air, a variety of weather specialists, from traditional weather forecasting all the way to battlefield weather specialists, are needed to ensure operations are conducted safely and successfully.
We are the Air National Guard, and national means that you will be serving our local communities and states by responding to the needs of your state's governor as well as national interests.
Red Lion Hotels Corporation is built to thrive. With innovative programming and in-the-know staff, our hotel brands offer guests great stays and a chance to immerse in local culture. Red Lion Hotels and Red Lion Inn & Suites are better than ever. For travelers who want to get lost and discover adventure, we open the door to the best local experiences. We have reinvented the loyalty program. Introducing Hello Rewards, the first recognition-based loyalty program that encourages members to go further, fly higher, travel better, with tailor-made rewards. And we're not stopping yet. Presenting Hotel RL, our newest hotel brand. Inspired by the natural beauty of the Pacific Northwest, an uplifting, relaxed atmosphere, a staff that loves what they do. For adventurers at heart, Hotel RL will inspire an amazing journey. Our future has never been brighter. 3 strong brands, an expanding portfolio, industry-leading innovation with turnkey solutions, simple fee structures, areas of protection, continued support from day one. We make partnerships easy. Reach a new breed of traveler with RLHC.
Today's game brought to you by Clark College. Clark College in Vancouver, Washington is enrolling for spring quarter. Whether you want to advance your career, complete a degree, or earn your high school diploma, Clark College can help you reach your goals. Visit clark.edu to learn more.
Well, Wes Tucker with myself, Mike Tatko, 47-31. Umpqua leading Columbia Basin. We can go over the scoring and very balanced for Umpqua West. Dejanay Powell, 16. Taylor Strickland, 13. Jordan Stotler, 12. 4 for Bria Thames and 2 for Marilee Jones. And, boy, when you have your big 3 in double figures with that many, it's going to be hard for you not to be ahead.
Well, that's for sure. You talk about not letting a team score 27 points each quarter. They managed to do that in the second one, but still, look at the score right now. It's a 47-31 game. It's still a big mountain to climb. The good news, however, is it's not over. We still got a lot of game to play. So again, going back to your chipping away strategy, there's still a lot of fight left in this Columbia Basin team. And the person who's been doing the most chipping for CBC, Alexis Castro, has 16, and after that, a lot of people scoring, but not very many people scoring very many. Caitlin Hosfield, 4, Catherine Bayham, 2, Monica Calzadillas, 2, Sarah Ramirez, 2, Charlotte Graham-Bernisto, 2, and Sabin Ko, 3. So a lot of balance, but not very many points, and so a long road back for Columbia Basin, although we can remind people that in a semifinal game last year, Skagit Valley trailed Walla Walla by 27 in the second half and took the lead in the final minute before Walla Walla ended up winning. And so no lead is safe, and no lead is too much to overcome until the clock hits 000. So the Hawks in their Navy will go from right to left as Wes and I look at it here, high above the court at the Walt Price Fitness Center here. Just about named the activity center after you for a moment there, Wes Tucker. I would truly love for that to happen. But you see, the thing is that doesn't usually happen until someone's dead. So are you trying to tell me something?
Well, it's a beautiful facility. Glad we're here. As Ko trying to get on the board with a 3. It's off the heel of the rim, and Dejanay Powell thought about making a football pass. They call it a baseball pass, length of the court, but it just as well could be a football pass, but she didn't. She thought better of it and gave it off. And UMPQUA starting in a 1-4 offensive set this time. Stotler with KO on her. And now Grenfell. And a lob into Powell, and it's intercepted. So the stop that CBC needed, they got, but the Hawks need to score some points as well. Castro goes past Thames, jumps it up from 12. It's good. Alexis Castro has 18 of the 33. And they trap at half court, and it's taken away. So here come the Hawks with the basket and the basketball. And all alone underneath is KO, and she lays it up and in.
Beautiful, beautiful separation right underneath the basket.
It's up. The lead is down to 12, 47-35. Stotler ahead to Grenfell, and UMPQUA a lot more comfortable in a set, a 1-4 high set against the man-to-man defense of the Columbia Basin Hawks. And on the give and go, it's Strickland going to drive and hit. KO got knocked to the floor. I hope she's okay. Boy, what a job by Sabin KO. She appears to be okay as the offensive foul taken, and she's shaken up. You can tell that. She's looking over it. Well, now they changed the call.
Oh, goodness.
Potentially, she may have been in the restricted area, in the circle. Wow-wee. So Sabin KO took the charge, hit the deck, and they call a blocking foul on KO. That's her third, and the first team foul. And the free throw by Strickland is no good. What a turn of events. Not only do they not get the basketball, but they pick up the third foul on KO, who is still in the game, but she'll have to be very careful on both ends of the court. She has the ball. Now she drives and puts it up, and it's blocked. And at the other end, it's Thames with the rebound. And down it goes to Grenfell. A lob to Powell, and the turn, the spin, and the basket. 18. And it's 49-35, and KO caught the basketball, but on the boundary, and it goes back to UMPQUA. Well, she hit the deck hard. Did Sabin KO, but all for naught. And Powell underneath again. She has 20. And just like that, it's a 16-point lead. So they had it down.
So Powell with 27 points in their last contest, and that was with the tournament jitters.
Right.
It's going to be interesting because we still got a lot of game to play.
Yeah.
See what she does without those jitters.
Castro, one of the best freshmen in the NWAC, as she knocks down that triple. She's from Granger, Washington, which is near Yakima, and she has 21 points and a great career ahead of her. Another lob to Powell. That one's too far underneath, but she just gets her own rebound and knocks it down. 22 for Powell. It's 53-38. We are 3 minutes in. Castro again. They leave her, and this one is too hard, and KO with the rebound, and Castro ends up with the loose ball, and they reset. Gran Bernisto on the left wing. Now deep three by Fyander, and that one wouldn't go, and Powell tips it to Stotler, and Castro simply just takes it away, leaves it for KO, and her pass is to Ramirez, and she got fouled at the 6:30 mark. First UMPQUA foul of the second half. And coming back in for the Riverhawks will be Callie Freeze. Grenfell gets a break. Way out front to Castro. Baseline jumper KO. High arching shot. And Powell there for the rebound, and nearly another steal on the trap, but Freeze comes away with it. They still aren't across the timeline. And what do we have? A 10-second violation. If you look at the shot clock, it's at 19, so that means actually it went down to the 10-second mark, and they call the violation, and it goes back to Columbia Basin. .6:10 to play. And Castro from the free throw line. Shooters roll.
Boy, Castro not feeling any pressure there. Took a quick step to the left and just a quick shot from the free throw line.
And a steal by Gran Bernisto off to Castro. She lays it in.
Good miss. Here we go. And how about this?
Nearly another one. They have it down to 11. They're just trapping all over the court. And they collide. The official, he's down, and he's hurt. And Castro's down. They're both down right at midcourt. They pick up Alexa, but the official is still down, grabbing his left, what appears to be knee or Achilles tendon. Will have a break here as they need to get the medical staff out. And Castro appears to be limping it off as well. She's running on the baseline, and we'll have more on this when we return to Everett Community College. Umpqua by 11. We're back after this.
You know you're more. More than a number. More than living paycheck to paycheck. You're a multitasking life engineer full of experience. That's why you belong here, where you'll find more one-on-one attention from faculty, with programs that can lead to in-demand jobs, and the support you need to get where you want to go, all at an affordable price. Get started now. Edmonds Community College, edcc.edu.
WWCC is affordable. Find your way. Attend part-time. Direct transfer. Join the fun at WWCC.
Well, we're back here at Walt Price Fitness Center. The official is walking it off toward the trainer's table. That is Brandon Lorraine, who is heading down there. Pat Zink and Brittany Lassiter, the other two officials. I don't know if they wait for an alternate or if they do a two-man game. The supervisor of officials is over there visiting with Pat, and Brittany is making her way over there along with Zach Wild, the head coach of Columbia Basin. So basically, to recap, quite a run by CBC West. They cut it to 11, continue to trap and press, trap and press, trap and press. And on the last possession, it was a collision between the official and Castro. And we'll have a chance to look at it here on our monitors. There's 5:40 left. And you'll see it here on our replay as we're up here. She went for the steal. She tried to take it from Jordan Stotler, and she ran right past Stotler and ran right into the trail official right at half court. As the inbounds after the press, it was Thames who got it back to Stotler, who drove down the right side. Castro went for the steal, and they just collided. It's almost like they hit knees. Anyway, so the official is over underneath on the NWAC, underneath the blue tent that you can see on the right of your screen. He is getting attended to. Meanwhile, head coach Dave Strickland is visiting with the head of the officials along with Pat Zink, one of the officials, and our other official, who is Brittany Lassiter. They have already conversed with Zach Wild from Columbia Basin, so unsure as to whether they're going to continue with two or whether they're trying to wait for one of the other officials to get ready. 5 minutes and 40 seconds remain in the third period of a 53-42 lead for Umpqua. And the officials now are making their way back to the court. Standing at half court is the third official, Brandon Lorraine, and now we do have a alternate who comes out of the locker room and to a rousing cheer from the crowd.
Well, you just got to hope that Brandon's okay into that 10. I mean, we couldn't show you all at home, but just taking a look over here at our monitor, it was a nasty collision there. And you also got to hope that the player involved, Castro, is okay as well. We saw her limping a bit after she got up, and she was running some lines over by the baseline.
Right, we got to keep our eye on Alexis as well. So now Umpqua with the basketball, 53-42, and the lob is stolen again by CBC, and they have numbers 2-on-1. It'll be Castro laying it up and in, and it is down to a double-digit lead. Castro with 11 in this quarter, and it's down to 9, 53-44. Lob to Powell. She turns, she shoots, she scores. Powell has 24 in the basketball game, and it's 55-44. Midway through quarter three. Fiander from the deep right corner, no good. And Powell with the rebound. And a new player into the game for Umpqua, and that is Kenesha Parnell, and there's another collision. Stotler down right in front of her bench. And so again, they send the teams to their benches. And Stotler collided with KO and looked like she planted awkwardly. 4:41 remains in a 55-44 contest. And the official, Brandon Lorraine, is getting his left ankle taped. Stotler now into a sitting position. And she is pointing to her left knee thigh area, Wes, and they will help her up. And she will sit down. So it's getting physical, and again, you would expect that in a situation where you have a team pressing, trying to get back into the basketball game, and now they declare that there's a media timeout. So we'll take it with them. It is 55-44 in favor of Umpqua, and we're back after this timeout.
Soldiers in the Guard's intelligence field gather information on the enemy using a variety of tactics. Scanning foreign communications, conducting interrogations, and debriefing friendly contacts, all while delivering and coordinating data to help allies on the battlefield or stop civil emergencies. The enemy can't hide from Guard intelligence.
Fans, be sure to check out the Northwestern Athletic Conference on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for all the latest NWAC news. Also visit nwacsports.org for the most recent information on schedules, scores, stats, and more.
Well, Wes Tucker, just when we thought we had a rout on our hands, 47-31 at half, we've had all kinds of activity in the third quarter. A collision between a player and an official. A collision between a CBC player and Portland State-bound Jordan Stotler. She appears to be okay. She's headed back to the bench and will sit and we'll see how long she sits out. Columbia Basin has cut a huge deficit down to 11, and they have the basketball, and Castro, a runner, that time missed. A rare miss by Alexis, who has 27 points, including 11 in this quarter. UMPQUA has gone with another guard as another near steal. Tanisha Parnell is 5'5" and a guard from Cleveland High School in Portland. She's now in.
Well, I tell you, this has truly been a different Hawks defense than we saw in the first half, just in this 5 minutes of the third quarter. They're playing aggressive. They're making it hard just to get out over the half-court line.
Lob into Powell. She loses control, but Marilee Jones is there to pick it up and put it in. And it's 57-44. Castro to KO. Lob in, and Marilee Jones gets caught with a foul. Her second and the second team. A battle here, really, Wes, between Powell, who has scored all 10, actually 8 of the 10 points for UMPQUA, and Castro, who has scored 11, although she misfired there. 11 of the 13. Another steal in the backcourt. KO will miss the hooking lay-in, and another steal by Saban.
Goodness.
Gives it off to Gran Bernisto. And now Castro will set as we approach the 3.5-minute mark. And Alexa thought about shooting it. Instead, she hands it off to Ramirez, who had her shot altered by Powell. And here come the Riverhawks. Trapping defense again, and Thames has it. And a lob, and knocked away again, and it will remain UMPQUA basketball, and coming back in will be Alyssa Grenfell. Grenfell from Hillsboro, Oregon, played at Liberty High School. She has the basketball right now. And Thames posts up, but she couldn't get it to go. And KO looks like she got hit in the stomach as she is in some pain, and Baham misses the shot, and Grenfell leaves it off for Strickland, who runs it down the right side. Taylor, a lob to Daisy Powell, who lays it in again. 26. She matches the 26 she had, and what do we have? A timeout on the floor. And so a 15-point lead for UMPQUA, 2:46 to go here from Everett.
I'm Danny Horton, and I'm an STCU member. The windstorm of 2015, who doesn't remember that? Had no power, were the heaters, the horse drop was a 600-pound block of ice. STCU stepped up. I went straight down. I got the loan I needed. If it hadn't been for STCU and the ability to provide everything I needed, where would I have been? I'm Danny Horton, and STCU is here for good.
Her second and the second team foul. So pretty cleanly played third quarter as far as fouls go, Wes, but there have been some collisions, let me tell you, in this one. No laughing matter as the official who was injured, Brandon Lorraine over there, is now resting on the bleachers, and Castro seems to be fine as the shot is no good and the putback is no good. Another chance for CBC. Stotler has not yet returned from her collision, but she's sitting on the bench and appears to be okay. We'll see her status if she comes back into the game. KO for a deep three. That's good. And it's 59-47 with 1:40 to go. Jones will wait for her teammate Thames to get across the timeline before she feeds her. Man-to-man by CBC. And a lob in, it's intercepted by Ramirez. Sarah bringing it down. It's a 5-on-2 for CBC. Graham Bernisto kicking it out. It's knocked out of bounds. It'll be CBC basketball. Well, a chance here, Wes, with a triple to get it down to below 10. And you got to figure if you're CBC, if you can get it down to 10 at the break, at the end of this third quarter, and make a final push to try to pull a monumental upset here in the fourth. There's Castro. She did it. They're within 9.
I tell you, it wouldn't surprise me at this point. We've seen just a truly scrappy defense come back after being socked in the mouth in the first half from this Columbia Basin team. And look at this.
Castro a steal. It's a 2-on-2, and she takes it in, lays it up, and she got fouled by Thames, and Alexis will shoot 2. She has 30 points in the basketball game, including 14 here in the third quarter alone, and an opportunity for her to get a couple more, and a timeout by Umpqua Community College. It's a 9-point game, final minute of the third period, and we're back to Everett right after this.
Soldiers in the Guard's intelligence field gather information on the enemy using a variety of tactics. Scanning foreign communications, conducting interrogations, and debriefing friendly contacts, all while delivering and coordinating data to help allies on the battlefield or stop civil emergencies. The enemy can't hide from Guard intelligence.
Umpqua led by 19 on 2 occasions in this game, Wes, and the lead is now down to 9. This is as close as they've been since in the first half. 47-28 with 14 seconds before halftime. And Castro gets the first one, and it's 59-51, and Castro has 31. And now it's down to 7. 59-52, final minute, and they continue on with the pressure. Stotler is back in the game, so everyone who has been involved in a collision is back except the official. Stotler is back, Castro is back, and the Riverhawks, another lob to Powell underneath, and another basket for Powell. We talk about Castro's 32. How about Powell's 28? 9-point lead. And there's about a 4-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. 9-point Umpqua lead. It was 16 at half. And Bayham got free, and that one is no good. But the rebound and a foul. Sneaking in there is Ramirez. And she'll have a pair. As we check the Umpqua foul, it's on Powell. It's her second. 5th team foul, but of course they'll wipe the fouls off at the end of the third quarter and we'll start anew. But for Ramirez, here's a couple of free throw opportunities. She's not been to the line yet this afternoon. And she missed that one. Ramirez, a 66% free throw shooter coming into the basketball game. KO will get an extended break here. She'll get a break for the final 12 seconds and then a rest for the break between the third and the fourth quarter. And the second free throw is good by Ramirez at 61-53. And now coming in will be Nailat Guish, who is the tallest player on Columbia Basin's roster, and they need her to potentially guard the tall Powell, and potentially Guish at 6 feet could do that as Strickland drives in and Guish commits a foul with 4.4 seconds left, and that's going to send Strickland to the free throw line.
When you call it, they had Guish right in front of Powell that whole time.
It would not surprise me for defensive purposes if they put her in the fourth quarter to front Powell. What you do, though, is you give up some offensive production because Guish does not average very many points on the offensive side. Strickland is now 0 for 3 from the free throw line. Guish on the year gets 2.5 points a game, so obviously not someone they count on for scoring output, but she could play a big role in the fourth quarter, Wes, if they keep her in for defensive purposes.
If they're able to keep Powell quiet, there's a true chance for a big comeback. Again, like you said, by trailing by 16 at the half.
And 19 twice. And Castro fires it at the horn. That's the first time in the game they haven't made a buzzer beater. 3 quarters in the books in the first quarter final here, and it's UMPQUA by 9 over Columbia Basin.
Training is definitely making myself better, but I know that it's going to end up making my teammates better.
You have to know your teammate and know what they need.
The cohesion on the field and off the field is what makes everyone strong.
Being on a team, you know it's not just you out there.
I would do anything for the player next to me, behind me, in front of me.
Practicing day in and day out, trying to be the best me so they can be the best them. It's like a sisterhood that you have with those girls.
It's just really empowering. They're all doing crazy things. And you want to be like them and you want to push yourself like them.
Motivates me to work harder, to get faster, quicker.
Pushing each other so hard, all for the same goal. And then when you accomplish it, that's the best feeling in the world.
Once you tap into that, I think you're unstoppable.
Well, I know it's your favorite time. End of the quarter, it's time for some more EVCC trivia. I'll try to give you a hard one this time. Where can you live just steps from Everett Community College classes and have one payment for rent, utilities, and furniture?
Well, it's right here at Everett Community College EVCC Student Housing. You can check out the student apartments at everettcc.edu/housing. And, of course, the Riverhawks get the first basket to begin the fourth period. It is 64-53, an 11-point lead. Well, we talked about Columbia Basin cutting it to 9, and they did to begin or to end the third quarter. But UMPQUA gets the easy basket to begin things, and now KO is fouled. It's Stotler's second and the first team foul here in the fourth period. As to begin the quarter, it was Powell who scored yet again. 30 points in the game for Powell as her shot was contested, and she still made that one. KO now 1 for 3 from the free throw line as she tries to cut this lead to 10.
Well, when you take a look at some scores we had yesterday in the Sweet 16, Powell has outscored Centralia Community College by herself over these past couple of games.
26 yesterday, 30 today. And Castro leading the way with 32 in the basketball game. Greenfell with it for UMPQUA, again against the pressure, and it's tipped away again. Another steal. Castro running up. It's a 2-on-3, and so Alexis will wisely pull it out, but they do not find her, and she fires a 3, and it rimmed out. It's amazing to me that after she gets done what she has done, they basically leave her alone for an uncontested 3, but she couldn't hit it. Strickland, she'd missed hers as well, and Thames runs it down and saves it way back out to Greenfield. Great job by Bria Thames to save that one in the right corner. Greenfield looking for some help. She lobs it to Powell, who puts it up and in. 32. And it's 66 to 53. Ramirez driving on Stotler, and it's knocked out of bounds. This is just the first. That's the first of 4 games. My gosh, what an afternoon and evening we could have.
Oh, yes.
If the other ones live up to anywhere near this one.
Well, again, next game right here is going to be Lower Columbia and Bellevue. And evening games look like we're in store for a treat as well when Everett takes on Big Bend and Walla Walla taking on Lane.
Yeah, could be some really good ones. And really a mistake there by Charlotte Graham-Bernisto as they throw it in bounds. She can let that ball go into the back court and then grab it and then play. And she caught it on this side, trying not to bring it across, and she went into back court. And so an error there that gives UMPQUA the basketball, and Powell is fouled. Powell is 2 of 4 from the free throw line. And the foul is on Ramirez, her second, first team here in the 4th. 8:06 to go, 13-point lead. The biggest lead was 19 on a couple occasions. Columbia Basin cut it to 9. And the shot is not good. Actually cut it to 8 at one point, but she missed both of those. Hawks on the attack. KO with the jump shot, and KO got fouled, and she'll shoot 2 more. And that's Stotler's third. Second team foul. Sabin KO is 1 of 4 from the free throw line, trying to get the Columbia Basin Hawks a little bit closer. And that one is good. And it's 66-54. KO on the season, 52%. Sophomore from Woodinville. And the second free throw is good. It bounced high off the iron and fell through, and it's 66-55 with 7:50 to go. Greenfell trapped and gets it off to Stotler. And back to Greenfell.
Like in a relentless defensive attack up front from the Hawks.
And Greenfell tried to go inside. It's a held ball as she was tied up there by Ramirez, and it goes back to Columbia Basin. Exactly 7.5 minutes left. KO, left wing, drives and kicks. Graham-Bernisto looking for someone to find. She finds Bayham, who traveled. They finally are guarding Castro out front, and Bayham drove past her defender and wanted to kick it to Castro for a 3, and she was covered. And so she kicked it to Bayham, who took an extra step, and it's turned back over to the Riverhawks. Taylor Strickland bringing it up to Thames, and Thames made the basket, but the foul is going to come before, and that's going to be on Graham-Bernisto, and that's her third. And they'll bring it in, Thames will. Thing we forget to talk about, Wes, is as Thames spins and knocks it down, is that Powell has played nearly the entire game. I mean, she is up and down the court and in tremendous shape. A lot of these kids have played the entire game. But Desjardins has really put on a show here today, as is Castro. Ramirez for three. That's short, but the rebound by Bayham. Same shot clock because it did not hit iron. So keep this in mind, Wes. They'll only have 10 seconds now for this possession.
If I were a gambling man, I would put my money on Castro trying to get free on the far side.
Yeah, well, she's going to inbound it, and sometimes you give it back to the inbounder. Let's see if they do. Bayham instead this time to Gran Bernisto, and there is Castro, and she's going to fire it up at the end of the shot clock, and it's off the iron, and the rebound comes down to Thames, who threw it to Greenfeld, and now Stotler, and here come the Riverhawks leading by 13. Lob into Powell, foul, and the basket. .34 for Desjardins Powell.
Opportunity here to make it 35.
And the foul on Ramirez, her third. And again, we've talked about it all afternoon, Wes. Just when CBC makes a run, they cut it to 9, and you look up there now, and it's back to 15 and could be 16 if Powell can't hit this one. And she does. 35 points for Daisy Powell, and a timeout for Columbia Basin. Umpqua by 16 with 6:22 to go. Back to Everett Community College after this timeout.
My name is John Archuleta, and I'm a loan service bankruptcy officer with STCU. I help members that are struggling with their financial obligations. A lot of times people feel as if they're not good enough. Their finances are telling them that they should have known better. Our goal really is the financial health and well-being of the member. We are our members. Our members are...
Fans, be sure to check out the Northwestern Athletic Conference on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for all the latest NWAC news. Also, visit nwacsports.org for the most recent information on stats, scores, schedules, and more.
You're not even looking at the paper.
Oh, no. Been doing these reads for 3 years now.
Well, we're back here at the 2018 NWAC Women's Basketball Championship. Everett Community College, the third year of the 3-year run, and an opportunity to come back here in the future, we hope. It's a beautiful facility, the Walt Price Fitness Center here, as Columbia Basin down 16, trying to keep their season alive. They're 22-8 on the year. Umpqua looking for win number 30. Castro off the iron, no good, and Bria Thames has come down with some really big rebounds at some big times, and Sabin Ko going to be called for a foul in the backcourt, and that's her fourth. And so Sabin Ko's fourth foul and the fourth team foul on Columbia Basin. Greenfeld guarded by Castro, and they lob it inside, and it's Strickland who gets the basket. That's her first field goal since way back in the second period. And 16 points for Taylor Strickland to go along with the 35 for Powell and the 12 for Stotler, although Stotler hasn't scored here in the second half. And there's Castro. Rimmed out again, and she's gone cold, Wes, and not the time of the game that you need your leading scorer to go cold, and Lexus is going to get a break, I guess, to just take a little bit of time and try to come back in for that final push with 5.5 to go as they bring in Caitlin Hosfeld, who puts it up and missed that one. Hosfeld, then on the rebound, it's Ramirez, and let's see who they call the foul on. It's on Thames. It's her third, and the third team foul. So we're getting close to the bonus for both teams. And on the lob to Ko, it's tipped away, and Strickland has it. And she'll go all the way down, and she got fouled by Ramirez as she created the contact did Strickland. And so Taylor will have a couple of free throws. She's 1 for 4 from the line. Sarah Ramirez just committed her 4th foul, and they are now over the limit. And we have a timeout on the court with 5:15 remaining to go in the basketball game. The Riverhawks lead the Hawks by 18.
The Guard has over 50,000 wheeled vehicles in action. The vast fleet of Humvees, troop transports, and fuel tank trucks are always moving soldiers, gear, and equipment around the world, or delivering aid to civilians during domestic emergencies. Transport operators are essential in getting the Guard to where it needs to be.
Today's game brought to you by Clark College. Clark College in Vancouver, Washington is enrolling for spring quarter. Whether you want to advance your career, complete a degree, or even earn your high school diploma, Clark College can help you reach your goals. Visit clark.edu to learn more.
Taylor Strickland has struggled from the free throw line today. 1 for 4 on the year. A 73.9% free throw shooter, so unlike her, she still has 16 points. And she has a pair here as Ramirez has picked up her 4th foul. And Taylor knocks that one down. And it's 74-55, and they have equaled their biggest lead. So a chance to make it a 20-point game right here, and they do. Biggest lead of the game for the Riverhawks. And we're midway through the final period. Ramirez, and it's a traveling violation on Sarah. For a moment, I thought when Stotler hit the deck, they were going to call an offensive foul on Ramirez, and that would have been that because she has 4, but they call traveling, and so it goes back to UMPQUA. Green fell, that's intercepted by KO. Sabin will run and lay it up. It's no good, and the rebound comes down to Stotler. Trying to draw the charge was Greenfell, but not enough contact, and it goes back to the Riverhawks. Another lob to Powell, and she makes another one in there. 37 points. And it's a 22-point lead. And UMPQUA now starting to pull away in the final 4.5 minutes. And all alone is Powell. Nobody touched her. And by my count, 39. Again, unofficial up here. There's a scoreboard over there that says 37, so I may have messed one up there, but either way, Wes.
Still fantastic.
I never scored 37 points in my life in 9,000 games. So there's a foul down at the other end in front of the UMPQUA bench, and I think it's on Columbia Basin, and that might be the 5th on Ramirez it is. So Sarah Ramirez has fouled out, and she fouls out with 3 points. Ramirez, a 5'8" freshman from Hermiston, Oregon, she will come back to Columbia Basin. We were talking during the break, Wes, they only lose 3 sophomores. Sabin KO, of course, one of the best players in the NWAC, one of the defensive players of the year. Niall Atguish and Aspen Fyander. So watch out for the Hawks.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You got a lot of firecrackers coming back next year. We're going to expect to see them in this game, if not against UMPQUA, but doing exactly what UMPQUA is doing to them right now.
Strickland hits the second of 2, and it's 80-55.
So as these final 4 minutes tick away, what needs to happen for an improbable comeback here?
Well, they need to get stops, and we've talked about them having to get baskets, but more important than that, they need to get stops, and they haven't really had that type of success as Powell blocks Guisha's shot out of bounds. And they're going to have to really have points on every single possession. Guiche will bring it in. A long pass batted out of bounds by Taylor Strickland. Our friends from Lower Columbia down there on that side of the press table getting ready to broadcast their game on radio back to the folks in Longview. Gran Bernisto got a 3. Well, that's a start. That's her first three-pointer of the day. She has 5, and it's 80-58.
And for those fans who are not able to listen to Longview Radio, you can catch that game broadcast right here on STSPN and the NLAC Sports Network.
Powell with another easy basket. And KO got fouled on her way through, so she'll have 2 more free throws as we check the UMPQUA foul. It's on Stotler. It's her 4th. So KO, who has 10 points, will have a pair here. And it's no good, in and out. It was a 9-point game after 1. 16 at half. They'd cut it back to 9 at the end of the third quarter, but couldn't get closer. As UMPQUA has scored 20 points this quarter to just 6 for CBC as KO hits the second free throw to make it 82-59, and now coming in is Lindell Wapshili. And KO will sit down. And a violation on Thames, who stepped over the line. And so it will go back the other way, and now they're going to put KO back in. So what Coach Zach Wild is doing is the offense-defense. So when they're on offense, he wants her in the game. When they're on defense, he doesn't, because she has 4 fouls, and now they send her back to the scorer's table. I guess the ball never made it into play. That's why she can't come in. She came out, and there was a violation, but the ball didn't get into play, and so she'll have to sit at the free throw line, or at the check-in line, as Fyander knocks it down from deep. Her first basket.
And obvious travel down there.
And Greenfell is wanting to know what she did. But it is a travel. And so, a 20-point game. KO thinks about the 3 and then takes it. And it's no good off the back iron, and Stotler grabs the rebound, and UMPQUA will bring it across. Stotler across to Strickland, directing traffic. Always looking for that lob to Powell. There she is again on Guiche. She put it up, she missed it, and she got fouled. So even when she misses, she gets fouled, and she'll have a couple of baskets. I have her for 41. The scoreboard has her for 39, and so we'll have to wait and see. But even now, with that make, even the scoreboard has her for 40.
Wow.
83-62.
This has been a masterful performance from Powell.
Missed the second, and Thames gets the offensive rebound. So when they don't score, they either get fouled or they get an offensive rebound. And they'll run some clock here the final 2 minutes. They give it to her again, and another basket.
Why settle for 2 when you can have 3, am I right?
85-62. And Wapshili shot that missed. Thames hits the deck but gets it off to Strickland. And back to Thames, and ahead they go to Greenfell, and they break the press, and they lob it to her again, and it's another easy lay-in. 87-52. 140 remains. Guiche inside got fouled, and she'll have a pair of free throws here. Well, Wes, I think Columbia Basin just ran out of gas.
Absolutely. So with the score resting as it is, a little safe to talk about some probables here. So Columbia Basin will be facing either Lower Columbia or Bellevue. So who do you think is going to fare best against this this UMPQUA team?
Yeah, I mean, as Squeesh hits the free throw, they're both going to have to find somebody to stop. Obviously, Powell inside, but you got to contend with the other ones as well. I mean, it's not just Powell. Yes, she's has almost 50 points tonight, but 2 others in double figures. And that's Stotler right there who knocks one down. I mean, they are the real deal. They have the full team, and whoever is the victor, as KO fires from the top of the key and it does not go. Whoever is the victor in the next game is going to have their hands full, but they'll have a week to prepare. That's the other thing. You know, they're not coming back till next Saturday, so it's not like they got to play them tomorrow. As a foul on KO, and that will end her career for Columbia Basin. A fine career it is for the sophomore from Woodinville, who gives the teammates checking in hugs along with her coach, Zach Wild. She finishes with 12 points and a whole host of new Hawks come into the basketball game as Greenfell gets an opportunity to go to the free throw line, and she hits it. And now coming in for UMPQUA, and there goes Powell to a rousing ovation as they put Lily Eckert into the game, and Adriana Taylor will also be in. The second free throw is good. Greenfell will sit down, and our score now becomes 91-63 with 1:10 to go. Bayham will. Castro going to fire another one. Good. Castro is in the 30s. She's had a tremendous game. 91-66. Final 45 seconds, about a 20-second difference between game clock and shot clock. 91-66 our score. It's a 25-point edge and a foul on Hosfeld, and that will send Stotler to the free throw line. Stotler has not been to the free throw line. And 34 seconds remain. This UMPQUA team scored 83 yesterday, and they have put up 92 today. Who do you think has a better chance?
You know, if I'm going to be perfectly candid, I'm going to have to say Bellevue would have the best advantage against this UMPQUA team. LCC's playing a little banged up, got their lead scorer out with injury. So it's going to be interesting seeing this Lower Columbia Bellevue game to start with, but in the long run, I think we're going to see Bellevue against UMPQUA in the Final Four.
Should be a dandy. We hope you'll stay tuned on this channel for the next quarterfinal, which will come up probably about 15 minutes after the final buzzer of this one, as we're a little bit behind, but I think they'll give the teams about 15 minutes to warm up here. 93-66, and the final 11 seconds will tick off here at the Walt Price Fitness Center, and Castro will dribble it down and go through and kick it now to Wapshili, who fires it, and it's no good, and that's the end of the basketball game. 93-66, UMPQUA is in the Final Four. They have won their 30th game of the year against just one defeat, and Columbia Basin falls to 22-9. Final thoughts, Wes Tucker?
Well, you know, it was a hard-fought game on both ends of the ball, but UMPQUA just had a little more gas left in the tank, it seemed. A lot of fading toward the end for Columbia Basin. They came out hard after the first half was over. Some great scrappy defense being played, but it just wasn't enough to hold up against a very dynamic and fast-paced offense that UMPQUA came out with.
Well, they really did, and they won it 93-66. Good working with you, and we hope you'll stay tuned for the next offering, which will be Lower Columbia and Bellevue coming up. The final score again, UMPQUA 93, Columbia Basin 66. For Wes Tucker, Mike Tatko from Everett Community College. So long, everybody.